Shoes are ready. Backpack is ready. Malaysia bag is ready. Vlad is ready. Let's go on the trip we all waited for. Heritage trip Bali Kampung part 1. Off we go on a 14 to 16 hour adventure. Let's go. The boot is packed. Got even a cooling box in here in order to store our drinks and some other stuff. I don't know why it is right here. It should be right there in the back so that I can easier access it when I'm sitting in the back row. Let's dump this in here, and my backpack is going to come with me in the back row. Right, completed the first leg of the trip. We are now in Austria doing the little bit stretch in Bregenz, and you hear very weird noises as well from weird people. We are now going to go all the way to Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm not going to cover that much of the first part of the trip where we just go all the way to Salzburg. But from there we're going to go, instead of all the way over Hungary and down to Serbia, we are going via Slovenia, Croatia, and then into Bosnia and Herzegovina. Gonna do one more. $78 and $19. Let's pay it in the shop. And just before we forgot it, we actually needed to take care that we get a toll sticker. So in the end, the whole bill came out at $96.57 with other miscellaneous things. So this is, compared to Germany and Switzerland, a bargain. Let's hop in and continue the journey.
As I just mentioned before, the first third of the trip is basically the same as the one I did before. The toll sticker is €9.90 and is valid for 10 days, which is in my opinion decent value for money. As it's in the middle of the night, you can't see much, but obviously I'm not in a rush and drive not faster than 120 km per hour. Passing by the border between Germany and Austria, I'm still appalled that the two countries didn't get their shit together since 2015 when the refugee crisis hit Europe and they established border controls between each other on that part of the border. Come on, it's 2023 and you can do much better than that. Also, filling up on a petrol station outside of the motorway is clearly advised, as Austria and Germany charge up to 50 cents more per liter on the petrol stations on the motorway. Your wallet will thank you for that. Right after the border, instead of going straight, we take the turn right and go south towards Slovenia. Unlike the upper part, you got here a lot of tunnels and the speed limit is set for 100 km per hour for the most part, but it's still quite a pleasure to drive in a relaxed manner without the need to rush.
And a couple of hours later, finally in Austria, in the middle of somewhere, like not too far away from Slovenia. I didn't fuel up right now because the fuel tank is still like half full, but obviously had to get some drinks, a coffee for my mom and a water for me, because basically my mom just woke up. I'm not tired yet, even though it's 4:30, even though I must say it is still quite dark, although I think it should be like the sun rising, as if I'm making actual sense. And as you can see, I need to wear a hoodie because I'm actually freezing a bit because it's below 20 degrees. Oh, as if it cannot get any worse. Like 15 minutes after we departed from the petrol station, something happened. Let me just show you, for the sake of the perspective, how it looks like. As you can see, this is such a huge jam, and I have absolutely no idea what happened. I presume it was an accident, but we will know shortly what's going on. The only thing what I've done is that I turned the car off, because I first of all don't want to waste fuel, and second of all I don't want to waste fuel, and third of all I don't want to waste fuel, because fuel is precious for this baby right here. So let's chill here and see what happens. So let's turn on the lights. In 3, 2, 1. Put it in D. Let's go. Whee!
The sun is rising, and of course there is another turn coming up which we shouldn't miss, as we would be going to Graz and Vienna instead. Not too far after it, there is the border without any guards and the toll station for the upcoming Karawanken tunnel. It's a road tunnel with one lane in each direction, and it costs €7.80 to drive through it. There were other 2 paid road tunnels before and costed €13.50 together. Seems like driving through Austria that way isn't as affordable as it seems to be. There are currently roadworks going on, and in around 5 years the Karawanken tunnel will have 2 lanes in each direction, so that there won't be jams anymore.
As you can see, we're now in Slovenia. There is also the need for a toll sticker, but in this case it's just a digital one, and I'm obviously not going to show you the toll sticker, the toll receipt, because it features the license plate numbers. But as you can see, it costs €16, which is for 1 week only, and they increased the price for €1 recently because inflation, bro. And I must say that it is quite expensive when you consider that Slovenia is a relatively small country.
Just like Austria, Slovenia is a country with lots of natural beauties, such as their mountains, lakes and caves. The weather is also quite weird, with being a bit gloomy, then the sun coming out of the mountain, which itself is really stunning, but finally getting into a bit of fog. Ah yeah, and of course a bit of tunnels too. Even if this is the longer route via Slovenia, the country finishes after a short while, and it's time to get into the most recent Schengen and Eurozone member, Croatia. Now that there are no more border controls, it is a very straightforward procedure to get into the country, but also the payments for tolls are also better, since you don't have to worry about having another currency, which is quite difficult to convert into. Since Croatia is a European's favorite for summer holidays, and Zagreb being literally the country's crossroads, traffic jams are guaranteed. You can clearly see that most cars here are from elsewhere and not from Croatia. Since most of those tourists aren't from the diaspora, but rather holidaymakers who want to visit the Croatian coast, they drive towards Split and Rijeka instead of Slavonski Brod, which is the direction we're taking. And of course, there's a lot less traffic there, and it's more enjoyable to drive. On the other side of the road, you can clearly see that there's also an enormously long jam. Sad. I actually wanted to film a bit the outskirts of Zagreb, but it is what it is, I guess. Unlike Austria and Slovenia, Croatia has toll gates, and they act like a closed system where you collect a ticket and pay at the motorway exit or when the motorway finishes. It's basically the same system as many other countries use, such as Serbia, Italy and France. For transiting a country, it's surely a good thing to pay as you go, but if you have to use a motorway on a daily basis, it's a costly nightmare.
I got myself some super shake from McDonald's, which we obviously do not have in Switzerland, and I must say welcome to Croatia. And this has been pretty whack since we actually arrived here. I just wanted to say that there is not just the fact that there was a lot of traffic jams since we actually arrived in this country, and it's been not that long ago, but second of all, the fuel prices here should be actually quite okay. But on the side where we filled up our car, the only diesel fuel was 2.01 euros, and this was just so expensive. Like, I guess we're going to fuel up when we arrive in Bosnia then, because there it's actually even cheaper than in Croatia. Lessons have been learned, but never mind guys. Cheers on you, let's enjoy the holidays.
Thankfully, we are being spared from using the expensive Croatian motorways and take the exit at Novska. Together with the first toll plaza at the entrance, it costs in total 6.40 euros. From here, it isn't very far to get to the border with Bosnia and Herzegovina, and it's a relatively okay road. Unfortunately, I expected a better quality road surface since Croatia put a lot of money into their road infrastructure. But it could be a lot worse for sure.
As if life wasn't bad enough being here in Croatia, it just got even worse. Namely, in front of me there is a gigantic traffic jam because a police officer is not letting us through to pass over the bridge so that we can cross the border into Bosnia and Herzegovina. Like, I seriously don't get the point. And it took us so long until we got here. Like, see, it's right there in the front. Right there in the front. You see there two, like one person, and this is the police officer, and I honestly have no idea what he's doing. But clearly it makes no sense, because from all of the other directions people can go, but we cannot. Let me show you guys what's actually going on here, and I think I know the reason why they didn't let us pass through that quickly. Let's go out. First of all, this is the river, as you can see. Well, there is like a monument in the back there for, just like in Jasenovac, for the concentration camp. But one thing what I actually want to show here is that this jam is going from here all the way to somewhere behind the trees back there, because there is the border post, and it's around 300 meters away. Back there isn't that much going on, because at the other point where we were stuck, there's an even larger traffic jam, which means we gotta wait for quite a while now. It cannot be more Balkan than what we've seen right here. People here chilling on the border checkpoint, and people behind me, they're chilling and having a wedding. This is peak Balkan, ladies and gentlemen. It cannot be more Balkan than this.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Dobrodošli u Bosni i Herzegovini. A few wacky drivers here and there, but thankfully it isn't far to reach from Jasenovac, the motorway close to Gradiška. Just like in Croatia, you pay as you go with collecting a ticket and paying at the exit. The toll plaza looks almost identical to the ones you can find in Serbia. The ENP sign on the top is the giveaway for it. As you might not know, Bosnia and Herzegovina is made out of 3 different entities: the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, the Republika Srpska, and the Brčko district. Here where we are now, it's the Republika Srpska, and it's hard to unsee it, since there are a lot of flags showing it, and on top of that the road signs feature the Cyrillic script before the Latin one. I don't want to dig too deep into the political issues this country has, so I suggest you to watch some different videos on this topic instead. Back in 2012, when I went here, I visited my relatives in the town passing by right now, Prnjavor. Yes, the name is quite hard to pronounce, but whatever. It is not a well-known fact, but my maternal grandmother is from this area, and theoretically I'm quarter Bosnian. That's also why I call this trip also a heritage trip or Balik Kampung, even though it is only my second time visiting this country. This time we're not going to Prnjavor, but instead we are proceeding to Sarajevo, my mom's birthplace and her home until she was 8 years old. As much as this motorway is of a great quality, it clearly lacks facilities, such as petrol stations and proper toilets. It's quite a shame, but unfortunately not unusual for newly built motorways in all over southeastern Europe. At Doboj, the motorway comes to an end and the road continues as a busy national road with one lane in each direction. Despite the country being relatively poor compared to most of Europe, there are a lot of brand new houses, mosques and churches to be seen. This is mostly due to the fact that many Bosnians live abroad in Western Europe and invest the money back into their home country into a house they only visit maybe for 2 to 3 weeks each year. After an hour of driving on this busy road, there is finally another stretch of motorway which is going to continue all the way to Sarajevo. Apart from a bit of industrial wasteland in the shape of a steel mill in Zenica and a coal power station in Kakanj, there are some gorgeous views like here onto the pyramids in Visoko. Well, it's kinda a controversial topic as well, whether those are really pyramids, but we can surely agree that this mountain looks indeed like one.
So guys, this is a petrol station behind me, which is not too far away from Sarajevo, and it is a really short drive left, like I think only like half an hour until we get there. So I'm actually very excited to see how this city will look like, because obviously I've never been there and not long, and we are finally there. It's going to be really lit, and so far, well, I am a bit tired. I slept a little bit while we were driving, and obviously I wasn't really properly sleeping, but I was just enough so that I can get a little bit sweet dreams while I was in the car. So that's quite a bit of a plus point, to say the very least, except that the background behind me is very loud, but obviously it is a motorway, what do you expect? So see you in Sarajevo.
Yeah, the jams obviously won't stop, but it's the final one, I promise. After paying in total for the toll in Bosnia and Herzegovina, we are finally here in Sarajevo. It has been a really long drive, but it was for sure a great adventure. I'm going to show you in the next video all the things I've seen and done in the city and tell you a few things here and there about the place itself. I want to say a huge thank you for watching the whole video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.